Hello, good evening to Toronto. My name is Kathrin. I live in Ulm, Germany, and I'm a big fan of the Ari Green series. My favorite book so far is Stranglehold, and now I'm really looking forward to reading Downfall. So let's start with the short part of it. Alison adored her grandfather from the moment they met at the airport, the day she arrived in Canada with her father. She soon nicknamed him Grandpa Y. His wife had died a few years earlier, and Ari was their only child. Ari's surprise discovery of Alison, his unknown daughter in England, meant that for the first time in his life, Grandpa Y had a grandchild. She couldn't even begin to imagine the horrors he'd been through in his long life. He'd grown up in a small town in central Poland. Half of the 4,000 people who lived there were Catholic, the other half were Jewish. The two groups got along without incident for centuries, until the night in September 1942, when the Nazis arrived. Grandpa Y's first wife and two children were murdered, along with all the other 2,000 Jews. Only Yitzhak and one other man survived. In 1945, when the American 82nd Airborne liberated the concentration camp he was in, he weighed 85 pounds. After 3 years in a displaced persons camp in Austria, where he met Ari's mother, they arrived in Canada virtually penniless. Despite all this, Grandpa Y was the most positive and wisest person she'd ever met. And then they had a discussion that ends with, she had one more question, the toughest one. Grandpa Y was still holding her hand. The answer is yes, he said before she could speak. Your father loved your mother. I know she loved him. You never have to worry about that. She hadn't cried since her mother died. Now she couldn't stop. Grandpa Y waited patiently. Her parents loved each other. She was conceived in love. She wasn't sure why it meant so much to her, but it did. She got up and bent over to kiss his cheek. He pulled her close for another one of his hugs. This one was tighter than ever. The Nazis took them all away from me, he whispered, his lips close to her ear. Then God gave me you. To me personally, Yitzhak is a really fascinating character. His story is very touching to me, and it's only one example for the cruelties that happen to so many Jewish people. I love how he is described as a positive person you simply have to adore. Thank you.